Okay, the next portion of the yellow belt or Rokyu test involves a partner, so I have my colleague Sensei Mark. Thank you very much, sir. So the first part is Hanmi and my eye with a partner. So we're going to start with what we call eye Hanmi. I'm going to set up in left. Normally, as a good friend once said, Uke is always right, the attacker is always right. In this case, we're doing just a setup exercise, so I'm going to set the direction here. So eye Hanmi means we're both in the same Hanmi. So I'm in left Hanmi, Sensei Mark is in left Hanmi. So we're basically in this position, and then when we measure up. Now when you measure up, it's going to be the attacker's attacking hand to my closest side, because this is the side that's most in danger. If I'm going to get hit, I'm likely going to get hit on this side, because this is his attacking hand. So we line up. So ideally you're somewhere there. If I'm overlapping a little bit, that's cool. This is a little too far. Right? The concept of my eye is that close enough that I could see him and start to contemplate him and what he might do, but far enough that if he wants to attack, if he could swing all he wants right now, he can't hit me. But if he wants to attack, he's got to step in. And that allows me time to do things. So that's good my eye. My eye is the distance, the closest distance I could let him come in before he can attack me and hit me. So this feels kind of comfortable. I'm in eye Hanmi, we measure up, we're good, right? So then we did right Hanmi, eye Hanmi. Same thing, he puts out his attacking hand, I put up my closest and danger side, and that feels comfortable, right? Good martial arts stances. I don't walk down the street this way. I'm going to be nice and comfortable and relaxed. I'm going to have my hands out. Okay. Then if we were to switch to Gyaku Hanmi, Gyaku means opposite. So I'm going to stay in right Hanmi. Sensei Mark's going to change into left Hanmi. So now we're in opposite Hanmi. I'm in right, he's in left. So now again, whatever his attacking hand is, he's going to reach it out. I'm going to reach out my closest side that's in danger. And this is going to be equivalent my eye or distance. Then if we did into left Hanmi, left Gyaku, Sensei Mark says right, I put out my in danger side, he puts out his attacking hand. This feels good. Again, too far, way too close, right? And the part just right at this position. So we'll move on to the next position, and then we have Atemi with a partner. I'm going to ask a lot of trust for Sensei Mark to stand still and let me wail on. So we break our attacks down into 3 attacks, only because it's easy to train. So we have Yoke Manuchi, and I'm going to do Atemi. I'm going to start in left Hanmi, step, raise my hand to my head, and I do that because it's a centering exercise. I don't come out here because this is endangering my shoulder. If he put out his arm and blocked, I'll probably dislocate my arm. So to be smart about it, I raise up, I start stepping and raise, and I turn, boom, it's supposed to be around the head, neck area, right? Boom, somewhere around there. Now if I did it with the left, same thing, I step, I raise as I start to step, and I, boom. As the strike lands, my back foot lands, boom. Okay, so we did a couple, here, and this is just to make sure that we understand how to attack properly. The next attack would be what we call shomanuchi. So shomanuchi would be overhand if I had a baton and I'm hitting them with this part of the baton, or a knife and doing a plunging attack to the chest or to the head. Again, it's just a way to break up the attack. This is a slashing, horizontal or diagonal. This is a vertical, right? Breaking the plane vertically. So I do the same thing. I'm in left Hanmi. I raise, again, center to my head as I start to step in, and as the strike lands, my back foot lands. Right? I'm going to hit whatever I can hit, right? Yeah. Bah. Right? And he's being a good sport here. I step and raise and strike. Right? Or I step and raise and strike. Okay? Ski is a thrusting attack. So while Yokomen is horizontal or diagonal, Shomanuchi is vertical, ski is a point. Boom, an uppercut, thrust with a knife, right? Somewhere along the center is usually where I'm looking for. I'm hitting for mass. So I start with my left Hanmi. As I'm coming in, I'm going to chamber, and then I'm going to bring everything through. And as my strike lands, my back foot lands. And just like in karate and other arts, we try to strike through the person. So I step, chamber, bang. Step, chamber, bang. And we switch to the left Hanmi. We step and chamber, bang. We step, chamber, bang. So thrusting anywhere along the line. So that is Atemi with a partner. The next piece is what we call Tai No Henko. So Tai No Henko, if you remember the exercises earlier, we did a tenkan exercise where I have my hand here, I turn and present both my hands in the opposite direction. Tai No Henko is the same exercise with a partner as he grabs. So he grabs. His job as a good attacker, he says, "Hey, Mark's doing a good job here." You see there's no air between his hand and my wrist. So this is less of a self-defense move and more of a drill to build skills, right? So he grabs, I'm being nice and comfortable. I want to relax my hand and start to curl it. A small step. His energy's here and it wants to go out. So I don't want to go too far in. I put my elbow directionally on top of his elbow as I relax my arms. And anything I do on one side of my body, I do on the other side of my body. Unity of body movement. That's what makes me powerful. So let's say Mark's bigger than me, right? So he's grabbing his arm on my arm. I may lose, but my body on his arm, and I'll win. So I have to unite the body. So I have my arms nice and relaxed here, and as I step with the first foot, now I'm going to circle back the back foot. Both hands out. Try the other side. Grabs. Small step to connect my hands and hips. Bring the foot around. And if I do my job right, it breaks his balance just a little bit. My posture's good, his posture's starting to break. And that's the equation with Aikido. My posture's good, my movement's good, I break his posture, and we're connected. So if he's connected and I'm moving well, I break him down, right? So that's good equation for me to work with. And I think the last piece with a partner is Kokyu Dosa. So we will do that. There's two methods of doing this. There's Kokyu Ho and Kokyu Dosa. We'll do the Kokyu Dosa. I'm sorry, we'll do the Kokyu Ho. So the Kokyu Ho, there's two different exercises. Kokyu Dosa starts up here, and it's more of a breath, balance, finding the person's center exercise, right? And we do that in the other move, but that's purely, that's what this is about, trying to find his center and tuck underneath. You see him finding his center and tucking underneath. Kokyu Ho, on the other hand, is now more technique. So this art comes from the samurai in medieval Japan. They were sitting in seiza a lot, and somebody would attack, grab, strike. So you might find yourself in this position. Do we get attacked like this in the United States? Not necessarily. But again, this is a body connection exercise. So he's got me pinned here, but let's go over this one hand for a second. So if you look at this one wrist, his wrist is only this big, right? So all I need to do is get around it. If I push against it, he's got me. If I try to move around, he's got me pinned. I'm in a really bad way. But I just need to get around that little spot. So Aikido is all about harmonizing with the energy. His energy wants to come in, so I want to let him in. I'm going to just circle around and let his hand go forward. So I'm going to scoop and hitchhike. From here, I'm going to advance forward. But advancing forward, I keep my elbows down and my knife blades of my hands go up into him. And now I've got his attention. Good, another equation in Aikido. Elbows down, strong. Elbows up, weak. So this is exactly where I want him. I move my right hand and my right leg together. And then my left hand and left leg together. And I pin, live toes. Here, and I'm not trying to crush him or do anything. I'm just building a wall right above him. And he starts to move. Can't. And that's it. We'll come to the other side. He pins me down. I just need to get around a small area of his wrist and let his hands fall forward. Hitchhike. Coming forward, my hands go up, but my elbows go down. My body stays low. I'm not coming up. My body stays low and rooted. Now that I've got his elbows up and my elbows down, left, left, right, right, live toes, rest above, he taps, and we're and this is the partner piece of the yellow belt or Rokyu test. Thank you, Sensei. Please practice, please try. There is a Q&A section. It's not very intense for this level. A couple of questions. Make sure you look at the sheet. Practice. You get a minimum of 10 hours, and we will see you at the dojo. Take care.